Diamond Tiara sighed as she approached her father's study and knocked lightly on the door. She hated bothering him, but she had an issue weighing on her mind and figured he could help. She could never go to her mother with this. No, Spoil would throw a fit. "Come in." Filthy's strong voice gave permission to enter, and the filly did so, pushing open the door and walking inside, closing it behind her. "Diamond! Hello, sweetie. What brings you here?" Diamond shuffled a hoof on the floor, head lowered, ears laid back, and Filthy instantly guessed something was wrong. He left his seat and came to her, lifting her head with the hoof. She refused to meet his gaze. "Diamond, what's the matter, sweetheart?" His voice held concern.
You know how I didn't said all those terrible things to ponies?
Diamond managed.
And how I was a bully?
"Yes, but I'd say you've changed."
Yes, but I still feel bad.
Diamond met his gaze now.
It's like a sick feeling in my tummy, Daddy. I don't know what or how to deal with it.
Filthy sat on a chair and lifted her to his lap, holding her close to him. She was only too glad to snuggle up against him. "Sick feeling in your tummy, huh?" he asked, knowing exactly what it was.
Yeah, it hurt.
Diamond sighed as a tear welled up.
I don't know how to fix it. I was hoping you knew.
Filthy nodded. "It's called guilt, and it's a good thing, actually, in a way. It means your conscience is working." Diamond blinked.
My conscience? What's that?
She was serious. She wasn't sure what that was, nor was she sure what the gift was about. She'd never felt that so strongly before. She looked up at her father for the answer. Filthy, for his part, gazed back as he pondered before speaking. "Well, your conscience is what tells you right and wrong. Like for instance, lately when you help some pony that needs it, do you feel good about it?
Uh-huh.
That's your conscience telling you that helping is right. If you suddenly treated some pony mean, like before, how would you feel?"
Really bad. Like it was something I shouldn't do.
Mm-hmm. That's your conscience telling you that what you're doing isn't right. Do you understand?
Yeah, but what about how I feel now, Daddy?
Diamond looked a bit miserable at that. "You mean that tummy ache because of what you did before? That's guilt, sweetie. See, your conscience is telling you that those things were wrong, which makes you feel bad or guilty. It's normal, and it's good in a way. You just don't want to hang on to it for too long, do you see?" Diamond thought about it and then nodded.
Yeah, I don't know how to stop it.
She said with a sigh.
Everypony forgave me, but I still feel bad. I still feel guilty. How do I make it go away?
Filthy gazed into her teary eyes and an idea flashed into his mind. It wasn't going to be a very pleasant one for him or for her, but perhaps it would work. He took a deep breath and tightened his embrace a bit. "Sweetie, if you really feel that bad and you really want to get rid of it, I can help. I know a way that will help you."
How?
"I'll give you a spanking." Diamond tensed at that. She knew what it was, but she'd never actually been spanked her entire life, except for a light swat here and there by her dad when she was much smaller. But those had just been little warnings not to repeat something so dangerous. She'd never gotten a full spanking. She looked up at him in worry.
Spanking?
She managed. "Mm-hmm." He waited for her to process the suggestion.
But would it hurt?
She asked nervously, instantly wanting to slap herself for the stupidity of the question. Filthy wasn't bothered by it. He simply nodded. "Yes, sweetie, it would, but it's supposed to." Diamond gulped. Not that she was thrilled with the idea, but if it helped.
Okay, Daddy.
Her voice sounded so small and nervous. Filthy hugged her closer, nuzzling her a little as he felt her start to tremble with nervousness and fear. "That's my brave filly," he said softly. "I promise it will help, Diamond, and it won't be a very long one." The last was more of a reassurance for himself than her, as the idea of spanking her was actually breaking his heart, but it would help her relieve her guilt, so he would do it. Diamond didn't do more than nod, and squeaked lightly as her father lifted her up and gently laid her across his lap. His left foreleg rested across her small body, holding her securely as he brushed her tail aside and raised his hoop. "I want you to think about why you're here, Diamond," he said, tone loving but firm. Before she could respond, he let his suit fall and a firm smack against her flank, making her jump and squeal a bit in surprise. It was a lot harder than the light swat she remembered from the past. Filthy continued to raise his lower hoof, letting steady and firm smack fall at an even tempo. Diamond squirmed and tears leaked from her eyes as the warmth steadily grew on her hind end. This definitely hurt, but deep down she knew she fully deserved it. Her behavior from the past demanded justice.
Ow!
Diamond yelped, squirming a bit more, trying to avoid the fire that her father's strong hoof was steadily building up on her flanks. "I know it hurts, sweetie," he responded quietly. "It's supposed to, though." As the swats moved lower, causing her to kick reflexively, Diamond shut her eyes and started thinking on the behavior that had landed her here across her father's lap. Diamond whimpered, tears flowing faster. She thought about all the times she bullied younger ponies with her blank taunts and deliberate cruelty, especially the Cutie Mark Crusaders, her favorite targets. She'd been so mean to them, they'd had a right to be furious with her, especially during the time she made them give her gossip for the school paper. That thought made her start crying softly. They'd gone through so much pain, being glared at and all, but shunned by the entire town, all because of her.
Ow!
She yelped before returning to crying and thinking. Filthy could tell she was considering her actions, and he kept up at his task, moving a bit lower still. Diamond just cried and squirmed a little. There was also all the time she'd outright disrespected older ponies, including her own parents. Spoiled hadn't said much against it, but Filthy had disapproved. Not that she had cared much then. Her sobs grew deeper as she became more vocal.
Ow! Ow! Daddy, stop! Ah, it hurts. I'm so sorry.
"I know you are," he replied, continuing for another moment before speaking. "Now, sweetie, why am I spanking you?" It took a minute to compose herself enough to respond, but she finally did.
Because I was a bully, and I called ponies names and treated them so bad, and I was so rude to the bigger ponies, including you. I'm sorry.
She broke then, going limp over his lap and crying so hard he could feel every heave of her ribs against his lap. He rubbed her back gently with one hoof, while the other slightly rubbed her sore rear end. "Shh," he soothed. It took a moment for her sobbing to ease up enough for her to breathe, and he sighed quietly. "I'm going to finish this, sweetie. You ready?" She barely nodded, not even resisting as he tightened his hold again and raised his hoof. It wasn't necessary to be harsh with the final round of swats. It was more of a reminder than a particular actual punishment. He aimed for the more sensitive area where her flanks and thighs met and let his final swats fall rapidly, anxious to be done so he could hold her. The last one was slightly more forceful, but not by much. With that out of the way, Filthy gathered his sobbing daughter into his forelegs and cradled her against his chest, nuzzling her affectionately. "Shh, it's okay. It's over now,"
I'm sorry, Daddy.
the filly whispered, completely worn out. "Shh, I know, and I already forgave you." He kissed her wet muzzle. "How do you feel now, sweetheart?"
My flank hurt.
She replied shakily and slightly dryly, as if that was supposed to be obvious. He chuckled. "Yes, sweetie, I know, but I bet your tummy." Diamond focused and was amazed to discover that the horrible feeling of guilt had vanished, as if by magic.
I don't feel bad anymore.
She told him before hugging him around the neck.
Thanks, Daddy. You were right. It helped, even if it hurt.
He hugged her back with all the love he could muster to pour into it and nuzzled her. "You're welcome, sweetie." They sat that way for a while, hugging each other, not desiring to let go. Finally, Filthy kissed her filly on the head and chuckled. "How about you run along and go visit some of your friends?" he asked.
Okay.
She hopped off his lap with a barely visible wince.
I love you, Daddy.
I love you too, my little diamond. She trotted out giggling, and he watched her go before returning to his desk to work. Thanks to Lesia, that spoiled wasn't at home to have witnessed him spanking their daughter. She would have fainted. He couldn't help but laugh at that image as he grabbed a stack of documents to sort through. Diamond, meantime, ran merrily through town, headed to meet her friends, happier and lighter than she'd ever been in life.